What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Friday weather update for Friday, November 15th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do daily weather updates on the weather for the United States, and sometimes we talk about weather headlines which are going on around the world, which we're going to do in just a moment. Want to be informed with what the weather's going to be in the United States, maybe severe weather, tropical weather, winter weather, everything else in between. That's what I talk about here. You've come to the right place. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe down below. Give this a thumbs up if you like the video. Hit that notification bell. Share this video with anyone you know. The more people who see my videos, the more people I can inform about what is up and coming in the weather. And of course, leave any questions and comments down below. Starting off in the Philippines, Typhoon Usagi. It has been a big problem. It was a very powerful storm, and we can see here by the pictures, it has caused some damage. It has caused some flooding, and it really was not a pretty storm whatsoever. It was a very strong typhoon. It was one of the stronger storms that we have seen this year, and I have seen satellite images or loops when it was in the Pacific Ocean of how powerful it was. The core structure of the eye wall was very impressive. Alright, speaking of impressive, take a look at the national satellite picture for the United States. That storm system that exited the North Carolina, Virginia coast, look at that. It's rather impressive. It's a comet shape, which is a classic storm structure, a classic shape for a coastal storm in the Atlantic Ocean. While it did not cause a lot of problems up and down the East Coast, in a small area from North Carolina to Virginia, it did cause its fair share of heavy rainfall. If you're across the Ohio Valley, you're seeing some clouds. You're even seeing a few showers. Just a weak disturbance is in the area. The rest of the country is relatively quiet with exceptions to the Rocky Mountains and the West Coast. That's going to change a little bit as we head into the weekend. Taking a look at the national radar picture, you can see a whole lot of nothing going on. We do have some showers, maybe even some sleet pellets moving into portions of Maine this afternoon. And in Nevada, Utah, Idaho, lower elevation rains, mountain snows are a thing for you. Taking a look at the national hazards map, we do see red flag warnings are up for portions of New England and New York City area and New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. Winds are going to be picking up tonight. It's going to be a very windy day tomorrow. That storm system I just showed you on radar that is backing into Maine, well, there's going to be a tight pressure gradient with that, and because of that, there is going to be some windy conditions tomorrow. With things continuing to be oh so dry, the fire risk, it does continue once again. And until we see anything significant in the rainfall department, it is going to continue to be an issue. Winter storm watches are up for portions of Oregon and Washington. That's for that next storm system that's going to move in. Let's take a look at Sarah here. Sarah continues to be a tropical storm system, but it may not even survive the weekend now, as it is currently pounding portions of the Honduras coast, with a heavy rainfall being the main issue, and mudslides. They are ongoing in that area. It is going to make landfall across portions of Belize, but take a look here. Yeah, you can see it is going to weaken to a depression. If it makes it into the Gulf on Monday, it would be a depression, and we don't even see a cone of uncertainty anymore, meaning it is eventually going to fizzle out. Let's take a look at the latest tropical guidance. Here's the intensity. You can see they have it either going to a depression or just remaining as a weak tropical storm for the weekend. So, yeah, not much is going to be left of that by the time we head into next week. But some of that energy could get worked into the next trough that comes into the United States. Taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center, there is a slight risk of severe weather on Sunday for portions of central Texas. Isolated tornado, wind damage, and maybe even a hail threat does exist. And then there is a threat of severe weather on Monday, slightly more east. There could actually be a squall line that gets going, and this does include Dallas. It's 15% chances at this time. Taking a look at precipitation over the next 1 through 7 days, the wettest area is going to be the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Portland, Oregon, Northern California. Get ready. You are going to see a lot of precipitation with those train tracks of storm systems continuing. You're getting a little lull right now, but trust me, there is another storm system headed for you. Mountain snows could be heavy, hence the winter storm watches that you saw. In the central region of the United States, there will be some moderate precipitation, and along the Gulf Coast, we're expecting some precipitation as well. In the Northeast, this remains to be seen what is going to happen here. You see, there will be some precipitation over the next 7 days, but there is some conflicting modeling guidance. Some guidance wants to develop a coastal storm system. Others say no coastal system and there'll be a strong low over the Great Lakes. We have to figure out just what's going to happen. It's the Canadian model that develops a coastal low. The same model that didn't do much with Sarah. So interesting, because the Canadian has actually been on a roll as of lately. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Let's take a look at the NAM, and we'll see what the weekend weather looks like for most of the United States. We can see here those mountain snows in Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. Going to be fairly impressive. Could be some high snowfall totals. Then as we head into tomorrow afternoon, you can see mountain snows in Washington, rain for the coastal areas of Oregon and Washington. That's that next storm system we're talking about. The rest of the country, fairly quiet day expected tomorrow. Aside from the winds in the Northeast, it's going to be a chilly wind. I mean, to be expected for this time of the year, and again with the dry weather that could reignite the wildfire risk as we head into Sunday. Take a look at this. We can see here there is a severe weather threat for portions of Texas still. I've been watching this all week, and Monday you can see a squall line does try to get going. Here's that storm system. It does make its way over Kansas and eventually Nebraska and the upper Midwest. Hey, you do need the rainfall, so take the rainfall that you can get. Taking a look at the GFS here, and we will go out into next week, and we can see on the GFS that storm system does go into the Great Lakes, and we can see up until early next week things look quiet for Florida. That will change somewhat as we head into Wednesday. You can see here some thunderstorms, maybe even some heavy rain with whatever will be left of Sarah at that point. And we can see behind us, take a look, here is that trough I was talking about. Now the GFS does develop an area of low pressure over the Great Lakes, and there will be upper level low behind that, so it's going to be rather chilly, unseasonably cool in the Northeast at that period. You can see by the time we get to mid to late next week, still a parade of storm systems in the Northwest, and that is just going to continue probably into next weekend. I mean, there'll be some breaks in between, but pretty much every couple of days you're going to have another storm system coming in. But take a look at this. An upper level low will just park itself over the Northeast. Everywhere else in between is looking relatively quiet. But I did want to show you the Canadian model. Take a look at this. On the Canadian model as we head into mid next week. Yeah, take a look at this. Much different from the GFS. The Canadian actually develops a coastal system off the mid-Atlantic coast and into New England. I mean, it really goes bonkers. Am I saying this is going to happen? No, but what happens here is you get a piece of energy that's left from Sarah, then you have this trough that comes in. I'll show you the 500 millibar pattern. The two kind of link up together, and the energy really goes bonkers and almost cuts off into the Northeast. We'll just keep our eye on that for the time being. Here's the European perspective of that, and we can see as I advance the European, here comes the thunderstorm threat over Texas, and this is actually more impressive. It's showing quite the squall line here on the European. Then as we head into next week, it tries to develop a secondary low, but the primary low really takes over the Great Lakes, and there could even be some lake effect snows. And look what happens on the European. As we head into late next week, that upper level low just really stalls. Eventually it makes it over New England, but we don't really see a coastal system going. So either way, regardless of what happens, below normal temperatures I think are going to be likely next week, late next week, in portions of New England and even on the European. Look at the West Coast. Yes, you are seeing potentially some rainfall for Los Angeles, and you can see that pattern does remain shifting southward on the European. So if the Euro was to be right, the longer range, we could see this train tracks of storm systems shift a little bit south. Maybe San Francisco, LA could get some much needed rainfall. We'll have to see if that holds up though, because we were seeing the model show this before and it did not happen. But only time will tell. Alright, taking a look at the latest from the Climate Prediction Center. This is just updating now. And take a look at this. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Now below average in the southeast. Slightly above average in the northeast. Although, I think that's going to continue to change. That upper level low means business. In the west, above average temperatures. And let's see if we can get the new, here it is, the new data just in for 6 to 10 day precipitation. I'm agreeing with that for the Northeast because with the upper level low in place, it is going to be rather unsettled. Below average temp below average precipitation is what I'm trying to say for the south and the west. Yes, I think you're going to remain above average, not for this period, but maybe in the 8 to 14 day as well. And we will have the new 8 to 14 day temperature outlook just coming in. Below average in the southeast, above average in Texas, and slightly above average they're going with in the northeast. But again, got to keep an eye on that upper level low cutoff pattern that could set up. If it does, temperatures will remain either near normal or slightly below normal. And taking a look at the latest update for precipitation, there you go. You can see CPC does agree now. It is going to remain wet on the west coast and slightly above average in the east and below average precipitation in the south expected. So overall, in a nutshell, this weekend, it's not going to be a terrible weekend. It's going to be windy if you're in the northeast, slightly cooler, near normal temperatures in the southeast, and on the west coast, that next storm system is going to come in very unsettled if you're in Oregon and Washington. In between, you get a nice day in Texas on Saturday before things get stormy on Sunday, and eventually that low pressure does develop and make its way up into the Great Lakes. There could be maybe some backside snow in the Dakotas. Models have backed off on that, but the main takeaway is you're going to get some beneficial rains heading into next week. And then, of course, after that, all eyes will turn to just what is going to happen with this system as it heads into the Great Lakes. Will it be a Great Lakes storm, or will it transfer and develop into a storm system off the East Coast? That remains to be seen. And, of course, the West Coast, well, hope you enjoyed the unsettled weather because, unfortunately, you're stuck with that for quite some time. 8 to 14 day outlook. Now above average precipitation for you. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Want to see more content like this? Subscribe down below. Hit that notification bell. Share this video with anyone you know. And leave your comments down below. Of course, you can follow me over on X and over on Blue Sky. Blue Sky is becoming the new thing. If you don't have it, you may want to get it because it is rapidly growing and a lot of people in the weather community are starting to make their way over there. So Climate Data Report is where you can follow me there. You can also follow me over on X at Climate Data Report, and you can follow me, Climate Data Report, on Facebook as well. I will see you all again tomorrow for another update. Until then, have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching.